Hi, this is Citizen Live at 1. A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Hussein Mohammed. We begin with good news for Kenya. The inaugural World Relay Championships came to a dramatic conclusion a few hours ago in Nassau, Bahamas, as Team Kenya broke yet another record in the men's 4x1,500 meters event, clocking 14 minutes, 22.22 seconds. The 4x800 women's team had to settle for second place as they could not keep up with the United States, who finished first, while the men's 4x400 meters relay team finished seventh. Wahiga Mora brings us the highlights of how our winning athletes are now laughing all the way to the bank with several million Kenya shillings in their accounts.
Well, they're off.
The first Kenyan race was the men's 4x1500 meter relay event, which kicked off at 1:47 on Monday morning. The United States team dominated the first 1500 meters and handed over their baton first, with Kenya's Collins Cheboy behind them.
Won the world record by 3 seconds. Under the world.
Kenya's Silas Kiplagat, who ran the second round of 1500 meters, took charge, breaking USA's David Torrance with 100 meters left.
But Kiplagat away and clear Ethiopia with an...
James Magut took over in the third leg and began their quest for a new world record.
They look a bit jaded, but here we go. Asbel Kiprop gets it in his hand.
The last leg was up to world champion Asbel Kiprop, who without a doubt confirmed the new world record of 14 minutes 22.22 seconds, 14 seconds off the previous world record.
The arms go up, he waves to the crowd, and there it is, a new world record, 14:22.22. Kenya have been supreme here.
Team Kenya bagged 4.4 million Kenya shillings for the win and another 4.4 million Kenya shillings for the record. When these athletes land back home, integrated mobile service provider Safaricom has promised 1 million Kenya shillings for that victory and another 1 million Kenya shillings for the new world record.
For the Kenyans, but a change in tactics at a relatively late stage. As the
next race on the track was the women's 4x800 meter final, which Team Kenya also had great hopes for. But this was not to be, as the United States finished 4 seconds earlier than Kenya. America's Chanel Price opened a considerable lead in the first 800-meter leg.
The distance, but the USA will lead as the baton is changed from first to the second leg athlete.
Kenya's Sylvia Chesebe tried to catch up during the second leg, but she and Janet Chepkosgei, who took the baton next, were unable to catch up.
Well, it's all to play for, isn't it?
No pride at stake, teams at stake as Jepkosgei beginning to make her move. America.
It was all up to world champion Eunice Soom, but the damage had already been done, and she could only place Kenya in second position in 8 minutes 4.28 seconds.
Have upset the form book. A brilliant performance, only just a fraction outside. Able to close down the woman who finished third behind her in Moscow. But still a very...
Finally, in the men's 4x400 meter relay event, Team Kenya finished in 7th position in a time of 3 minutes 5.81 seconds, showing that the country still has a lot of work to do in the shorter distance races.
More than the last decade. So who's going to come out here with pride intact?
Reporting for Citizen Live at 1, I'm Wahiga Mwaura.
Great news for Kenya, and of course, congratulations to the team. Now, a political activist, Moses Kuria, is currently being grilled by officials of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, over claims of hate speech. Kuria is said to have uttered words against some communities, and the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka is also expected at the offices of the NCIC. Our reporter Esther Kahumbi is following the story and now joins us live on phone. Esther, good afternoon. Have the two gentlemen arrived there?
Well, currently the person we have here is Moses Kuria, the activist. who arrived at about 11 a.m. He is currently still being interrogated by NCIC, the NCIC Secretariat. As you mentioned, rightly Hussein, he was summoned because of remarks he made on his Facebook page against a particular tribe and, of course, a particular political party. He has been very vocal on his Facebook page, and that's what he's answering to currently. Kalonzo Musyoka is also due to appear before the Secretariat over remarks he made at a press conference a while back against a particular journalist who had put a question out to him. Kalonzo declined to answer the question. And while both Kalonzo and the journalist report to have settled the matter, a report, or rather a complaint, was filed to the Secretariat against that Kalonzo made, and that is why Kalonzo has been summoned here to answer to those complaints. Kalonzo is yet to arrive at the NCIC offices, but of course, Hussein, we are on the lookout for that.
Esther, NCIC is still doing its job. Many have been questioning whether, without the commission now and only the Secretariat, it will be like how it was before.
Sorry, Hussein, I didn't hear you clearly.
NCIC, Esther, we know currently doesn't have a commission, just a Secretariat. Is it what we know the NCIC was before, during when it had the commission?
Yeah, Hussein, that's right. They've been operating without commissioners for a while now. What is happening now, Kuria and Kalonzo will be interrogated by the Secretariat. The CEO, that is the Secretary to the Commission, has been previously quoted saying that as much as they've been waiting for commissioners to be appointed to the Commission, operations are still being carried out smoothly here. They're not encountering any challenges, but of course they're waiting for new commissioners to be appointed, Hussein.
Right, Esther, thank you. Esther, the NCIC officers, of course, will be join Esther Kombi, of course, later in our subsequent bulletins to find out what happened and whether the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka indeed went to NCIC. Now, Nairobi Senator Mike Sonko and Nairobi Women Representative Rachel Shebesh are yet to appear at the Kilimani police station to record statements in connection with a gun drama incident on Saturday night. The two leaders and their bodyguards had been summoned to appear at the Kilimani police station today following a scuffle that resulted in several bullets being fired at the Caribbean restaurant on Saturday night. It is unclear what triggered the firing of the gun, reportedly by one of Shebesh's bodyguards at the club, where the two were accompanied by their supporters. The rival camps sat in separate places, but conflicting reports allege that either group taunted the other. President Uhuru Kenyatta's political advisor Joshua Kutuny has accused the URP wing of being behind the woes facing the Jubilee government. Speaking at St. Peter's ACK in Keses constituency, Uasin Gishu County, during a Harambee meeting, Kutuny pointed out that the persistent attacks directed at the government by URP leaders was a major threat to the survival of the ruling coalition ahead of the 2017 polls. He further blamed the rising political temperature in the country to URP leaders and advised them to embrace dialogue if aggrieved in any way for the sake of unity and development. Earlier on, while addressing the same meeting, Nandi Hills legislator Alfred Keter accused the government of allegedly kicking out Kalenjin elites from key government positions.
Ukweli ni kwamba kama mtaongea kama viongozi wa Ifitibali, aswa sana URP TNA tu walikuwa na matatizo ya kusema kwamba wanataka nani fulani akuwe chairman, fulani asikuwe chairman. Hiyo kelele ilizimwa kwa wiki moja. Sasa yetu ya URP sasa imekuwa ni miezi 6.
We want to see each and every Kenyan getting space in every government institution and in every organization that is governing. We have to see the face of Kenya in every sector.
Nakada Chairman John Mutudo has directed all alcoholic drinks outlets to submit their business documents to their respective county commissioners by Wednesday this week for profiling. Speaking in Narrow County, Mutudo said that the comprehensive list of all outlets who will have qualified will be circulated to all police stations by Friday, 30th May 2014. He further said that most bars, wines and spirits outlets are being owned by policemen, and officers from Nakada and asked the county commissioners and their police to close down all bars and nightclubs operating within the residential areas and near learning institutions.
All outlets, anybody selling alcohol, whether it's a kiosk, whether it is a bar, it's a club, it is a petrol station, it's a supermarket, anybody who is selling alcohol, they must make documents available to their local county commissioners' offices before close of business on 28th of May. That is Wednesday.
Residents of Kasese in Pokot North Sub-County have protested over lack of water in the drought-hit areas. They're now fearing an outbreak of waterborne diseases if the situation persists. Now, the locals claim they are now forced to share contaminated water with animals, as all the dams in the area have dried up due to the biting drought.
Yoyote watu hapa wanaumia sana kwa sababu ya maji. Nataka serikali kusaidia, alafu pate maji nzuri.
Ukipikia hii maji chakula atakuwa green sana, ni nyekundu kabisa. Tunaambia serikali hata ugali ni kali sana. Tunaambia serikali atusaidie sana maneno ya maji kabisa.
Corporate farms workers have embarked on an initiative to raise funds for cancer patients. The initiative saw participants engage in water rafting sport in Muranga to raise the funds, and the games attracted over 22 teams from different farms. The event was organized by Faraja Cancer Support Group, with participants terming it a noble cause. One of the trustees of Faraja Cancer Support Trust, Shaira Ademali, said her farm provides complimentary therapy, massages, exercises and nutrition services for cancer patients. She said patients and their caregivers are also able to meet other patients through support groups.
A good swimmer. I'm not even a swimmer, but the experience I had with going down the rafts and all, it was like, you have got to be very relaxed, and once you go through a hurdle and you look back, you say, oh, you look back and say, I did it, yeah? So it's an experience that I would like every other Kenyan to have.
Now, just what can one do with 100 shillings? Well, apparently not so much, especially with the rise in the cost of living that has seriously eroded the purchasing power of the local currency. But for members of a SACCO formed by Boda operators in Kitengela, 100 shillings saved every month has enabled them buy their own homes.
What would you do with 100 shillings a day? Nothing much? Nothing at all? Would you believe if I told you that with 100 shillings you could actually own a house? Well, it sounds too good to be true, but there's a group of Boda operators in Kitengela who have gone out of their way to prove this notion true.
In the ever-busy and increasingly expanding town of Kitengela, where time seemingly waits for no man, they pack in their designated stop and wait for the next available customer. A group of motorcycle operators whose story is not about how they teach or drop off passengers in their working hours, but what they have managed to do with the proceeds therein. Take Charles Odhiambo, for example, who has been a Boda operator for at least 3 years. He manages at least 1,000 shillings each day and has since the year 2010 been saving 100 shillings a day to own a home.
Ilikuwa nafika saa nyingine hata nalemewa siku 2 ama 3, lakini ilikuwa nafika kama siku 4 na hakikisha kuwa nimelipa hizo deni ambazo sikuwa nimelipa, ndio anga nisiache nyuma katika mchango wangu wa kila siku.
It is the same story told by Josephat Gadanga, who confesses he didn't think saving 100 shillings a day would do much until now. And it took a drive at least 15 kilometers from Kitengela town to Ngasemo estate for me to believe it as well. 100 units for 100 members of the Kitengela Motorcycle Owners Kitemoto, a SACCO that has seen dreams come true, as explained by their chairman, Mwai Murahuri.
Kila member alisave 60,000. Ndio tulianza hiyo 100 kila siku.
kila mtu akafikisha 60,000 ndio kazi ikaanza kujenga.
There are 24 extra units built for sale to the public at 4.7 million shillings each to assist the members pay off the loan they have since taken with Housing Finance, with members paying 7,600 shillings for the homes.
Kitu ni kujitolea na kuomba Mungu akupe uwezo, kwa sababu sisi tulianza polepole na ile ndoto tulikuwa nayo tumepata. Na vile tulianza tu hivyo polepole, wengine wakasema hii ni pyramid, wengine wakasema ati sisi ni zile chama mbaya, hakuna kitu tunaweza pata. Sasa tunaona matunda.
Wanasikia aje wale ambao walikuwa wamesema?
Sasa wale vijana 50 walilemewa, sasa tayari wamejipanga, wanataka kuingia phase 2.
30-year-old Josephat is the youngest homeowner and is yet to have moved in, only hanging up curtains in anticipation. His dreams, though, for the future are now bright.
Mimi nasikia vizuri sana kwa sababu nikiwa na 30 years na niko na nyumba yangu. Inaonekana sasa hata kuwa wakati ule unakujanga mgumu, unalea familia, una rent, nyumba inafungwa. Naona tu kwangu itakuwa mambo rahisi kwa sababu niko na nyumba. Watoto wangu wataishi hapo, hawataona landlord wafungiwe nyumba.
As with Charles Odhiambo, who insists that owning a home in the city is the greatest security. The group that first began by supporting each other to own a motorcycle and now a home hopes to take it to the next level in terms of investment.
With the proper management, the economy of scale, because these guys are many, with 100 bob where they are able to come together, then we save little by little, and we've seen this great project coming to reality.
Just goes to show that a little actually goes a long way. Definitely a challenge that makes one rethink matters savings, isn't it? Evelyn Wambui, Citizen TV in Kitengela.
Very inspiring. And now, former Mungeki leader Mayan Jenga, who was attacked on Saturday by a known gunman, is said to undergo an operation this afternoon. Doctors will be seeking to remove a bullet lodged in his shoulder. Jenga has been moved from Aga Khan Hospital to Nairobi Hospital. And this comes even as the government insists that the attack was as a result of ongoing wrangles between Mayan's church members and his former sect, Mungeki sect members over land.
Tunaelekea hapa Nyahururu Pedi. Tunaelekea Pedi. Kuna wazee walikuwa hapo. Tulikuwa tunaenda kukutana nao.
Elections in Kenya are often characterized by violence blamed on a weak democratic culture. And it is often suggested that this could be cured by exposing future voters to peaceful elections as a cornerstone for democracy. Now, primary school in Kakamega County is already exposing its pupils to the tenets of democracy. They recently held elections at the end of a grueling campaign where candidates made the usual big pledges. And as Salim Bill reports, the elections conducted by the IEBC had enough lessons on democracy.
It's the culmination of an electioneering period at St. John Mahia Kalu Primary School in Kakamega County following heated campaigns for the school's coveted leadership positions. 4 candidates were battling it out for the presidency, otherwise known as head pupil, while 4 other pupils were vying for the deputy president position. The slots for time managers and cabinet secretaries for welfare, debate, water, library, environment, games and sports also attracted their fair share of candidates. The pupils were vetted before selling their manifesto to the student body during the campaigns. And so, in the first such exercise at the school, pupils exercised their democratic right by voting for leaders of their choice, an exercise the school management hopes will expose the students to not just their democratic rights, but also the electoral process. The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission officials were there to supervise the voting and tallying exercise and ensure it is free and fair. And Sadil Manyasa, Standard 8 pupil, emerged the president.
I want this school to develop. Previously, we had these things like a head boy, a head girl, but now I prefer this type of democracy because the peoples are the one electing their leaders, not the teachers. Because sometimes the teachers could choose people that we don't want.
Tambo walimu walikuwa wana-elect kwa staff room, alafu wanakuja kwa parade wanasema huyu ndio head boy, alafu huyu ndio head girl, na wengine hawakuwa wanapenda watu wenye wamechaguliwa.
I saw that I can make this school change in disciplineness, academically, and integrity.
Aspect of student leadership is borrows heavily from devolution, because we are decentralizing power from the administration as it were in the past to the grassroots, and in the school situation, these are our pupils.
In empowering students to participate in school governance affairs, the school administration hopes they will inculcate national values.
They understand, they come to terms with the fact that it is proper to lose an election, it is proper to win, and that when you win, the losers should be able to accept, concede defeat, and work with the winners.
The lesson on democracy now taking a new path. Salim Bilu, Citizen Live at 1.
Very interesting. Sadil Manyasa, the president, they are talking like a president. And my director, Robert, is apparently furious that his candidate did not win. Let's go now to more serious elections which are being held in Egypt as the country goes to the polls today to elect a new president for the second time in 2 years. A huge security operation has been mounted by police and the military amid fears of attacks by militants seeking to disrupt the polls. Former Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who deposed Islamist President Mohamed Morsi last year, is standing against left-wing candidate Hamdin Sabahi. Now, the elections are being held in 2 days, with the official result to be announced on 5th June.
There was heavy security in Egypt today as voting began in presidential elections expected to bring former Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to power. Sisi has been widely regarded as Egypt's de facto leader since he toppled Islamist President Mohamed Morsi late last July and cracked down on his Muslim Brotherhood in the bloodiest chapter of the country's modern peacetime history. Sisi's sole competitor is Hamdin Sabahi, a leftist politician who finished third in the 2012 election, which brought Morsi to power. Meanwhile, Malawi's High Court has rejected the decision by President Joyce Banda to annul this week's general election, in which she was a candidate. Banda had earlier said Tuesday's voting had been marred by rigging, multiple voting and computer hacking. She said a new vote should be held within 90 days, but she would not stand again in any new poll. Mukami Chaka for Citizen Live at 1.
Well, Citizen Live at 1 takes a short break, but we are right back with business and sports news after the break. Stay tuned.